Hi, everybody. Hey, team. Excited to be back here in Columbus. Obviously, this is where I started my coaching career, so just really feels like a full circle moment to come back as the fourth head coach for the women's lacrosse team. Excited to be a Buckeye again, and again, bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm, love, and passion to the program and to the players, and just excited to kind of just build our family together. Anything else? Yeah.
Gotcha. Where's the program at in your eyes, and then what are your goals, what are your expectations for the future?
Yeah, so I mean, I think, based off the film we've been watching, cutting up, looking at, I think we've got a lot of really talented players, both currently on the roster and coming in, both in the 23 and 24 class. So excited to sort of just build on the consistency aspect of that, both from defensive fundamentals and then offensive looks and different options that they have creating with the ball.
Have you started to hit the recruiting trail yet? And if so, I guess what are you hearing from different prospects, recruits maybe?
Yeah, so I think you start recruiting the second you start the job, right? Or maybe even beforehand, maybe like the hour beforehand. So we've already hit the recruiting trail a little bit, talking, first with the players that were committed, the incoming freshman class and the 2024 high school graduates that were verbally committed to Ohio State, just communicating with them, getting to know them a little bit better as well. And then for us, it's, talking to potential transfer candidates, and then as well as getting out there with the club coaches and the high school coaches that are in the system, gearing up for September 21st for that rising junior class. Just sort of expressing to them what we saw in terms of resources, access to facilities and things to help players grow holistically to be the best player and people that they can be in the 4 years here.
I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, the new lacrosse stadium, the Shoemaker complex. Just, I guess, as someone who was at Ohio State a while ago and then has come back, what about the facilities and the upgrades that have been made stand out to you?
Well, so I think it's, the first thing that stands out is everything that's new. Right? The Shoemaker facility is just incredible. I mean, I think it's second to none in anywhere I've ever seen for women's lacrosse players across the country. So obviously in the lacrosse stadium too, I mean, it's had almost just less than a spring season, it feels like, under its belt. But I think too, coming back, it's what's the same. And you still got the sense of the tradition and the people that were still here and cared very deeply about this university, about this athletic department. You still get that spirit of uniqueness, just love, right? For a place and for a brand, right? Like the Block O. So it was what's all different and what's all still feels very much the same. And it's what excited me to come back.
Coach, what's the quality of Big Ten lacrosse?
I'd say it's national championship quality. Yeah, I think when you look at the quality of the Big Ten lacrosse, I think it's anybody's game. If you're competing in a Big Ten tournament and a Big Ten championship, there's a really good chance, I dare say likelihood, that you're going to be in a Final Four. And that's somewhere we want to be.
Started your career here as an assistant, made
Yes.
a couple different stops, but this will be second head coaching stint.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself as a head coach for the first time, and now bringing your second stop?
Yeah, so learning about myself as a head coach, having been a long-time assistant coach, you don't know what you don't know. Same thing, like when you're not a parent, you become a parent. Wow. I think for me, it was about patience and love, especially starting a program, the first place that I was at, bringing a team of 24 freshmen at the time in a very fluid recruiting environment without the transfer portal. How can we create consistency and just, respect for one another throughout that 4 years, to continue to grow, to welcome in new talent each year, creating that culture where, teammates always had each other's back, high level of loyalty and respect, and pride, right, for the uniform. So I think that was something definitely had to cut our teeth on pretty early in my head coaching career, and I think we'd certainly be bringing all those lessons here to Ohio State.
Culture building is obviously something very important to any program. What do you do day to day to build that culture and to build the program that you want?
Well, yes, I think culture probably starts with your relationships, getting to know your players one-on-one as a group. Obviously, these girls have all walked different walks in their lives. They're coming from everywhere, all across the country. So getting to know them, I think also being vulnerable and allowing them to get to know me, being as present as possible in the moment with them on the field, in the office, open door policy, just to build those relationships. I think that's really where the culture piece starts, from player to coach, and then just telling them and explaining to them how to have sincere and genuine relationships with each other, right? Built on trust and respect. And yeah, you want to have a positive relationship. You want to be friends. Sometimes you got to check the friendships at the gates a little bit before maybe it's the black gates there, so we can compete and have a really, really competitive practice. But then we're going to pick them right up as soon as we cross back over, right? As soon as we're crossing over into the locker room again. So for me, that's sort of where it starts, and looking forward to building those relationships.
How about the growth of lacrosse here in Central Ohio? I mean, from when you first started, and then now we're playing PLL games over here in the new stadium. Like,
It's wild.
How have you seen that grow here, not just in Ohio, but then how to capitalize on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even spread past Ohio. I mean, it's up in Michigan now. I know we were recruiting players up in Michigan, all the way up in Michigan. I don't think that would have been the case 13, 14 years ago. To just see, I mean, lacrosse is still the fastest growing sport in America. I forget what the stat literally just came out again as a report. Still number one. Maybe a little bit outpaced by pickleball. So hopefully they don't become an NCAA sport. So we can keep that keep that stat going. No, so I mean it's incredible to see the growth of the sport here. I remember Upper Arlington High School still being a really strong high school program. It still is. But to hear that New Albany, Thomas Worthington, I think we've got a couple of players, Dublin, all those schools that have grown now and are these perennial powerhouses as well. It's just really exciting, and I think it's only going to help enrich our recruiting for Ohio State.
How do you strike that balance between recruiting players from Ohio and looking nationally for the best talent?
Well, I mean, I think you just said it. We have to look for the best talent. You want to keep the very best players in the Midwest. I think that's really important, again, to grow the sport again in our area. But we're going to want to look towards the hotbeds of lacrosse, the Long Island, the Baltimore, upstate New York, New Jersey. I think we've hit a couple of the home states already. To keep fresh talent and to keep our program exposed in those areas as well. We want to have that brand awareness that we are, as competitive as some of our Big Ten counterparts like Northwestern and Maryland.
Talk a lot about growing the game. What is your plan to kind of get the community rallied around you and around the team and around the program?
Yeah, I mean, we would love to have youth teams out. Would love to have camps, clinics, learning lacrosse, play days, whatever we need to do to get sticks in kids' hands. We want to continue the growth in the state.
What's job one?
Job one was hiring staff.
Are they
Yeah. Soonish. Waiting for a final tease. I think we're waiting ink to dry.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think, job one was obviously touching base with the team, right? Shooting those guys a text, getting up with them via email, had a quick Zoom. I think with most of you guys were able to make the Zoom meeting, that first initial meeting, and then following up with the girls that had been verbally committed or had signed with us. Then it was, all right, recruiting and hiring staff, sort of week one out of the gates.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.